If you've been looking for a way to lose weight effortlessly, then you've probably heard of things like eating smaller portions, cutting calories, taking fat burners, going on juice cleanses, using body wraps, freezing your fat away, or really whatever else that's out there that promises instant results. That if you just do this one thing, the fat will magically go away. The truth is, none of those things work, or they don't work long term, because a lot of them overpromise quick results but severely underdeliver. And once you stop doing it, if it works at all, the weight comes back on, and then some. But you already know that. And this can be summed up by one of my favorite quotes, which is actually my first tip, is that nothing worth having ever comes easy. We're starting with big picture stuff here so you can start having the proper expectations moving forward. My point here is that no matter how hard you look, there is no magic pill that will make you lose weight without putting in any effort when it comes to eating a proper diet and exercise. However, there are ways to change the way you look at the process to make it a lot easier. Because getting your mind in the right place, to me, is actually step number one when it comes to achieving a successful weight loss transformation. It starts with what's going on between your ears and getting it right. And I know that that doesn't sound as appealing as a magic pill, but these methods are real, and the psychological and physical tricks that I'm about to share with you will really help you lose weight effortlessly and keep it off for good. I'm confident in them because these are the exact same tips that I give to all my students inside my Fat Loss Accelerator program, and they've all gotten some amazing results. So this is basically the next best thing to a magic pill. Before we continue, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Tip number 2, voluntary hardship. This is a very important concept that you need to understand. Losing weight isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be walking around with a six-pack and we would not have an obesity epidemic right now. But there are ways to put yourself in the best position possible, like eating a proper diet that moderates your insulin levels and making proper supportive lifestyle choices that upregulate your fat-burning mechanism. But in either case, it's still going to be a process. Like, how much easier is it to just shove food down your throat every time you're having a bad day instead of sticking to the plan? And that's another big problem here, is that we turn to food. We use food as a form of entertainment. We use food to make ourselves feel better. That's where voluntary hardship comes in. And if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting and all of its amazing benefits, especially when it comes to fat loss. And I think that intermittent fasting epitomizes the concept of voluntary hardship more than anything. Here's the definition of fasting: an abstinence from food or a limiting of one's food, especially when voluntary and as a religious observance. The key word there that I want you to take away is voluntary. You're voluntarily taking a break from eating. Same thing when it comes to exercise, and we're gonna dive into exercise specifically in a little bit here. But if you want a nice looking butt or you wanna put muscle on your legs, you need to do some squats, preferably with some weights. And guess what? It's not easy. There's no free lunch here. You've got to put in the work. Like, do I enjoy intermittent fasting? I mean, it's definitely gotten a lot easier because I've been doing it for the last 10 years, but I still get hungry sometimes when I fast. But I know that regardless of how I feel or what I think that day, I know that I have to stick to my fasting schedule. I know that I have to show up every day. I have to show up to the gym. I have to show up for myself, and I'm willing to pay that price every single day because I don't want to go back to my old self. I like this version better. And here's a very important concept about fasting. You're not denying yourself of food. You're just delaying it, which leads me to my next tip: delayed gratification. Okay, let's talk about this concept. My point here is, sure, eating a healthy diet, especially when you're used to just eating junk and working out, might suck, especially at the beginning. Like with exercise alone, it's not pretty. You're gonna be covered in sweat, you're breathing hard, and then you're gonna be sore the next day. And then you gotta do it again. But this goes back to putting yourself through voluntary hardship in order to get something in return. The gratification you get is that you get a better looking body and you feel better about yourself. You're healthier as well. Do you know what's worse than that feeling of voluntary hardship though? It's the feeling that you get afterwards from constantly reaching for that instant gratification. Anyone who's completely given into their urges and just mailed it in has felt like absolute garbage by the end of the day. And we've all been there before. Again, this just goes back to us always turning to food to make ourselves feel better. But if you just delay that instant gratification and instead you put yourself through voluntary hardship by skipping a meal or two, through intermittent fasting, for example, and you're actually eating when you're hungry, not just because you're bored, and you're working out, you still show up even though you don't feel like it, it's gonna be so much more gratifying when you finally eat that meal. And more likely than not, you're gonna gravitate towards a healthier option for your meal because you don't want to throw away all the good you've done throughout the day. And this creates a positive feedback loop. Your success mechanism kicks in, and the chances of you showing up and doing the exact same thing thing again the next day is pretty high. So you just keep doing this until you finally lose all the weight. But this also works the other way. If you get discouraged, that can start snowballing the other direction, and you don't want that. That's why it's so important to keep showing up for yourself and keep feeding that positive feedback loop. Because how you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything. Like if you show up for yourself and say no to that morning donut and delay that instant gratification, then you're gonna feel good about yourself. You're more likely to show up to the gym and make better food decisions for the rest of the day. My next tip is delay, but don't deny. A lot of motivational gurus out there teach this all or nothing attitude. Like, you gotta go all in. You should never eat junk food again. Good luck with that. Listen, we're extremely flawed as human beings. The more you tell someone that they can't have it, the more they want it. That's where the concept of delay but don't deny comes in. And I love following the 90-10 rule when it comes to this. 90% of the time, follow the plan. Put yourself through voluntary hardship and embrace delayed gratification. But know that it's just that. You're just delaying it. Then the other 10% of the time, live your best life. Eat cheesecake, because I love cheesecake. In terms of what this looks like in real life, if you eat 3 meals a day, that's 21 meals in 1 week. 90% of 21 meals is 19 meals, which means that all those 19 meals needs to be on point. And you get bonus points if you skip breakfast. Again, this is where intermittent fasting comes in. Just think of your body burning body fat for breakfast and using it for energy whenever you do this. And then 10% of 21 is 2 meals, which means that you can technically have 2 cheat meals. And you want to eat those 2 meals in just 1 day. Just keep it to 1 day. But then that's where sensible eating comes in. If you have a lot of weight to lose, I wouldn't even eat 2 cheat meals. I would just eat 1. So again, voluntary hardship and delayed gratification applies to cheat meals as well. Tip number 5, eat the best healthy food you enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna use pickles here as an example because for some reason, everyone loves it, but I hate it. I think it's gross. I can't wrap my head around eating a rotten cucumber. I don't care if it's the healthiest food on the planet, I won't eat it. It's the same thing with kale. Ugh. My point here is that you need to find healthy foods you enjoy eating. Otherwise, you're not gonna stick to it. For me, I only eat once a day, and I also do some form of physical activity every day. That's how I show up for myself every day, and I also have an optional cheat meal every week. Sometimes, if I don't feel like it, I don't even take that cheat meal. That's my version of voluntary hardship and delayed gratification. Now, when I have my 1 meal for the day, I eat the best healthy foods I enjoy. And I've gotten a lot of requests from you guys about what I eat in a day, and it's coming, I promise. But what you wanna do is you wanna revolve your diet around single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods. You want to eat a high-fat, moderate protein, and low-carb diet because it's the best diet to moderate your insulin levels so you can tap into your fat-burning mechanism effortlessly. It's also the best diet to activate your satiety hormones, which helps keep you full longer so you won't feel the need to snack in between meals. Personally, I eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables because they're extremely filling and it satisfies me because I'm a volume eater. I love eating a lot of food. So I eat roasted Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, a little bit of sweet potato and purple yam. I also eat eggs, 2 different types of animal protein, and I eat nuts and dark chocolate as my dessert. It's healthy and I love it, and I'm able to stick to it. So you need to find a setup, find the best healthy foods you enjoy so your diet will feel effortless. Number 6, do workouts that you enjoy. This is the exact same concept as my last tip. You want to eat the best healthy foods you enjoy, and you also want to do physical activities that you enjoy. What you don't want to do is fall into chronic exercise patterns where you're just going to your 6 a.m. spin class every day, 7 days a week, or you go for an hour-long run every day, for example. And I have a completely separate video called The Worst Exercise for Weight Loss if you want to know more about this topic. But all you need to know is that chronic cardio patterns leads to chronic stress levels, and chronic stress levels leads to chronic inflammation, which is the root cause of all sorts of nasty disease, including arthritis, diabetes, cancer, obesity, autoimmune, and cardiovascular disease, just to name a few. So you don't just want to do one type of exercise. You want to be inconsistent with your workouts. That's right, I want you to change it up all the time, and your workouts don't need to be confined within the 4 walls of your gym. Exercise is all about movement. Your goal should just be to constantly move your body throughout the day, because that's how we evolved as human beings. Otherwise, you'd be a tree. That's why setting a goal of getting 10,000 steps every day is so effective, because it's a big enough goal to get you to move your body constantly. On top of that, maybe one day go for a run, and then the next day ride your bike. The day after, lift heavy weights. Then after that, do a HIIT workout. To me, that sounds way more fun and way more engaging rather than doing the same thing every day. So again, you gotta find a setup that works for you. You need to like what you're doing for your workouts. Number 7, Treat your body like it's a Ferrari. This one is super simple. If you drive a Ferrari, would you put cheap and dirty gasoline in it? No. You'd baby it. You'd put premium gas, you'd get it serviced on time, and you'll always make sure that it's in tip-top shape. You need to start treating your body the same way because you're the asset here. And our health, to our own fault, is something that we always take for granted. And we don't really realize how important it is until we get sick. Listen, you only have one body and you have to live in it. So you need to take care of it. Treat it like a Ferrari. You always want to make sure that you give it all the TLC that it needs by constantly moving it, getting proper sleep, and eating premium food because you're worth it. Number 8, change your vocabulary. This is super simple, but it's so effective. I want you to change your vocabulary from I have to I get to. Because when you say I have to, it almost sounds like it's a burden. On the other hand, changing it to I get to means that you're coming from a place of love and gratitude. Here's an example. I have to work out changes to I get to work out. I get to move my body. I have to eat broccoli changes to I get to eat broccoli. Any quadriplegic would trade places with you in a heartbeat to have the opportunity to get to work out. Any starving person would kill to get to eat broccoli. Do you know what I mean? Making that simple vocabulary switch changes the dynamic completely. Tip number 9. Have skin in the game. This is an unbelievably effective way to keep someone accountable. And I personally use it all the time because the human brain is really interesting. It's programmed to avoid losing something it already has than it is to gain something it wants. Use this to your advantage. For example, whenever I really want to feel laser focused on achieving a goal, I'll make a deal with my brother that I'll give him money if I don't achieve that goal. We even sign contracts. And I always end up achieving my goal because I don't want to give him money. So make it to an amount that it's going to hurt your pocket if you end up losing it. Like, don't just bet $5. And there are other ways that you can do this. You can book a vacation and buy a bathing suit that doesn't fit you quite yet. I also know some people who sign up for physique shows, which means that they have to get ready for it. Just put something at stake. Have skin in the game. Bet on yourself that you're actually gonna achieve it. Number 10, be nice to yourself. This might be the most important tip if you want to lose weight effortlessly, because we can be so mean to ourselves sometimes and it doesn't really help. Think about it this way. Think about a baby that's just learning how to walk. It's not pretty. They're not very good at it. They fall on their butts all the time and then they cry. Actually, they cry a lot, but they keep trying. You don't just hear them say, maybe this isn't for me. Walking is just not my thing. No, they keep trying. They try and try and try until they can walk. They don't give up. You need to adapt this mindset and be nice to yourself while you're at it. When you mess up, when you fall on your butt, get up and try again. Keep trying until you get it right. And if you want a proven plan on how to do this, then make sure you stick around until the end of the video. But know that you are doing your best here. I know you are. You are absolutely worth the effort. The only time when you actually fail is when you give up, when you stop trying. And you, my friend, are not a quitter. And just remember this one last thing, wherever you are in your weight loss journey. You are one decision away from a completely different life, which means that you are one meal away from moving closer to finally achieving your weight loss goals. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing. 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.